Good morning everyone, welcome to the English desk with Sonali. Before we begin Act 1 Scene 2, let us quickly understand what has happened so far. Imagine the streets of ancient Rome. The city is overflowing with excitement. People are celebrating, music fills the air. Everywhere there is joy because Julius Caesar has returned victorious. But wait, victory against whom? Who was Pompey? What exactly was the Roman civil war? And why are some Romans celebrating while others are deeply unhappy? अगर आपको इन सब क्वेश्चंस के आंसर्स डिटेल में चाहिए देन आई हाईली रिकमेंड वॉचिंग माई प्रीवियस वीडियो ऑन एक्ट 1 सीन 1 जिसकी लिंक मैंने डिस्क्रिप्शन में दे दी है. In that video, I have explained everything in detail. Who the common workers of Rome were, the political rivalry between Julius Caesar and Pompey, the meaning of civil war, the role of tribunes, and many important historical details that help us understand Shakespeare's play much better. So please don't skip that video. It will make today's lesson much easier to understand. But don't worry, मैं यहाँ भी उसका short recap ज़रूर दूँगी. At this point in history, Julius Caesar has defeated his political rival Pompey the Great. Pompey is no more, but his supporters are still alive. Naturally, Pompey's followers are heartbroken and angry, while Caesar's supporters are celebrating his magnificent victory. Rome itself is divided into two emotions, resentment and celebration. Now enter two important Roman officials, Flavius and Marinus. They are tribunes. Instead of joining the celebrations, they become furious. Why? Because the common workers have declared an unofficial holiday and rushed into the streets of Rome simply to celebrate Caesar's victory. They even scold the workers for not wearing their signs of profession. अगर आप सोच रहे हैं कि साइंस ऑफ प्रोफेशन का मतलब क्या है, उसका डिटेल एक्सप्लेनेशन भी मैंने एक्ट 1 सीन 1 के वीडियो में दिया है. That's another reason why that video is very important. Then comes one of the most powerful speeches of the scene. Marinus reminds the crowd of something they would rather forget. Not very long, these same people climbed towers, filled the streets, and loudly cheered for Pompey. और आज the same crowd is celebrating the man who defeated Pompey. How quickly public loyalty changes. Marinus calls them feeble. Ashamed by his words, the commoners quietly dispersed. Only Flavius and Marinus remain. But before leaving, they make an important decision. They walk towards the Capitol to remove the decorations and crowns from Caesar's statues. Why? Because they fear that Caesar is becoming too powerful. तो शायद रोम की रिपब्लिक खतरे में पड़ सकती है. And with that, Act 1 Scene 1 comes to an end. Now let us move to Act 1 Scene 2. The entire scene takes place during one of the most fascinating festivals of ancient Rome, the Feast of Lupercal, also known as Lupercalia. This was not just a celebration, it was one of the oldest, most popular and deeply religious festivals of ancient Rome. Every year it was celebrated on 15th February in the honor of Lupercus, the Roman god associated with fertility and shepherds. In fact, the celebrations usually lasted for 3 days, from 13th to 15th February. But 15th February was the most important day. It was a grand public holiday. This was a day of animal sacrifices, public feasting, and famous race through the streets of Rome. During this race, Mark Antony and other noblemen would run through the city carrying the strips of leather cut from the sacrificed animals. और यही ट्रेडिशन शेक्सपियर के प्ले में भी दिखाया गया है. Now you might wonder, why was this festival so important? Because according to ancient Roman belief, the rituals performed during Lupercalia had magical and religious power. People believed they could bring fertility, purification and divine blessings. Women who were unable to have children believed that if these runners touched them with the sacred leather thongs, they would be blessed with children. Many women would deliberately stand along the rest road, waiting, hoping to receive that sacred touch. And if a woman is already pregnant, people believed that the touch would ensure a safe and easy childbirth. ये उनका religious belief था. Understanding this belief helps us understand why Caesar gives Antony such an unusual instruction in this scene. But don't make the mistake of thinking that this scene is only about a religious festival. बिल्कुल नहीं. The festival is only the background. The real drama is about to begin. Rome is glowing with celebration. The streets are overflowing with people. Music echoes everywhere. The magnificent feast of Lupercal has begun. Fresh from the glorious victory, Julius Caesar makes his grand entrance into Rome. The greatest military hero of the Republic walks proudly through the decorated streets surrounded by Antony, Calphurnia senators and an adoring crowd. The people cheer, flower petals fill the air. Everything appears perfect. But appearances can be deceiving. Beneath the music, beneath the laughter, beneath the thunderous applause, dark clouds are slowly gathering. Among the celebrating crowd walks a mysterious Soothsayer carrying a warning that no one is ready to hear. Nearby, Cassius watches Caesar not with admiration but with growing jealousy. And deep inside, Brutus begins to struggle with a painful question. Should his loyalty belong to his friend or to Rome? Meanwhile, few men stand quietly in the shadows, not cheering, not celebrating, but whispering, planning, watching, waiting, because while Rome celebrates a hero, a conspiracy is slightly being born. And from this very moment, the countdown to one of history's most famous assassinations has already begun. यहीं से शुरू होता है वो इमोशनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जो पूरी ट्रेजेडी को ड्राइव करेगा. This scene introduces the central struggle between loyalty and ambition, and it plants the very first seed of the conspiracy that will eventually change the history of Rome. So let us step into Shakespeare's masterpiece, Act 1, Scene 2 of Julius Caesar. And now we come to Act 1, Scene 2, one of the most important scenes in the play. This scene is quite long and contains several important developments. So to make it simple, clear and easy to understand, I have divided it into two parts. In part 1, we will study from line number 1 to line number 176. So let's begin Act 1, Scene 2. Good morning everyone. Today we move from the streets of Rome to grand public festival. Rome is celebrating the victory of Julius Caesar. Everyone important, senators, soldiers, priests and common people are present. Shakespeare introduces us Julius Caesar, allowing us to judge his personality right from his first words. So let us start with Act 1, Scene 2. The scene is taking place in Rome at public place. And as we know, that procession has started because Julius Caesar has won the battle against Pompey. So who are there in the procession? Let's see. Caesar, Antony, ready for the course, ready for holy race. Then Calphurnia. Calphurnia is wife of Caesar. Portia, Decius, Brutus, Cicero, Brutus, Cassius, Casca, followed by a crowd of citizens and Soothsayer. So let's start with the scene. Caesar, Calphurnia, Casca, peace ho, Caesar speaks. Caesar, Calphurnia, Calphurnia, hear my lord. Caesar, stand you directly in Antonius' way when he does run his course. Antonius. Antony, Caesar, my lord. So, this scene starts with Caesar's dialogue. Caesar speaks first because he is center of attention, and it immediately establishes the authority of Caesar. Caesar is calling Calphurnia. Calphurnia is wife of Caesar, and then Casca. Casca is one of the conspirators and government officer. Then he orders everyone to keep silence because Caesar is speaking. Caesar, Calphurnia. Calphurnia, hear my lord. Yes, my lord. Caesar, stand you directly in Antonius' way. Stand you right in Antonius' way when he does run his race. When he runs his race, that time you stand right on the way of Antony. So, in the background, we have already seen that Lupercal Festival has been started, and in holy race, young men run through the streets of Rome, striking in sports the people who come on their way with leather straps. So many women, many people go on purpose to see this holy race. They stand on the way of the young men who participate in the holy race and put forward their hand to be struck. It is believed that if barren women, the women who don't have children of their own, if they stand on the way of these holy runners and if they are struck with the leather straps, then it is believed that they will be freed from the curse of infertility. And pregnant women, it was believed that they will have the safe and easy delivery. So, from this we come to know that Calphurnia doesn't have children, and that's why Caesar gives this instruction to Calphurnia to stand on the way of Antony. Then he calls Antony, and then Antony says, Caesar, my lord. Yes, my lord. Caesar, forget not in your speed, Antonius, to touch Calphurnia, for our elders say, the barren touched in this holy chase shake off their sterile curse. So, Caesar is telling Antony that don't forget to touch Calphurnia, because our elders believed that if the woman who doesn't have children, if she gets struck by these holy runners, then she will be freed from the curse of infertility. And Caesar gives the same instruction to Antony to touch Calphurnia. Antony, I shall remember. Yes, I will remember. When Caesar says do this, it is performed. When Caesar says do this, then definitely it is performed. Caesar's order is definitely obeyed. And Caesar says, okay, set on, proceed, and leave no ceremony out. Don't leave any of the rituals without performing. So perform all the rituals in the ceremony. So from this small set of dialogue, we come to know about Antony, that he is very loyal, he is very obedient and a faithful supporter of Julius Caesar. And this small set of dialogue also reveals something about Caesar, that he is very respected, he is authoritative and commanding. Now let's move on. Soothsayer, Caesar. Now a mysterious stranger comes from the crowd and calls Caesar. This is very dramatic character introduced, and because his sudden appearance creates suspense. Look at that dramatic effect. Shakespeare suddenly creates that suspense in the story, and Soothsayer calls this Caesar. Now, Soothsayer is an old prophet who was believed to have that ability to foretell the future. So, this is Soothsayer, and then he calls Caesar. Caesar says, huh, who calls? Yes, who is calling? Casca, bid every noise be still. Peace yet again. Peace ho, be quiet everyone. Caesar, who is it in the press that calls on me? Who is in the press? Press means crowd. Who is there in the press? Who is there among the people who is calling me? I hear tongue shriller than all music cry. Caesar, shriller. Shriller means high pitched sound or harsh sound. So Caesar is telling that I hear very harsh sound than all music. Who is calling me? Speak, Caesar is turned to hear. Tell me, now I am turned to listen to you. Now here I am turned to listen to you. What is this? Shakespeare introduces a very surprising physical detail about Julius Caesar, that he was deaf in his left ear. Actually, no historical evidence is there showing Caesar was deaf in his left ear. So it is just symbolical, because Caesar ignores the warnings given by Soothsayer or nightmares of his wife or the warnings given by priest. So Shakespeare has used this as symbolical, because when Caesar is calling Antony to speak into his right ear, this shows that he blocks, literally and figuratively, he blocks out the voices coming from the other side. And on the theatre stage, it creates very fantastic moment of visual irony, where Caesar is standing among the people and right next to the people who are plotting to kill him, and he calls Antony to speak into his right ear about the secret about these people. So it highlights how close the danger was and how unaware Caesar was about his surrounding. Soothsayer says that be aware of Ides of March, be aware of 15th of March. Now, before we understand about Ides of March, let's see Before we understand Soothsayer's warning, be aware the Ides of March, we need to understand how Romans counted their dates. Today we simply count the dates from 1st to 31st of month. But Romans did not do that. Instead, they counted backwards from three fixed points in every month: the nones, the Ides, and the calends. Now let's understand each one. The nones usually fall on the fifth day of the month. However, in March, May, July, and October, the nones fell on the seventh. The Ides usually fell on the 13th day, but again in March, May, July, and October, Ides fell on the 15th. Finally, the calends was always the first day of the next month. Now look at the example of March shown in the infographic. The nones fall on the 7th, Ides fall on 15th, and if you want to count the other dates like 16th March, then it was described as 17 days before calends of April. 20th March, 13 days before the calends. Likewise, they counted backwards from these three fixed points. Caesar says, "What man is that? Who is this man?" Brutus, "A soothsayer bids you be aware the Ides of March." Soothsayer is telling you, be alert on Ides of March, on 15th of March. Caesar, "Set him before me, bring him before me, let me see his face, let me see his face." Cassius, "Fellow, come from the throng, look upon Caesar." Okay, you fellow, come from the throng. Throng means crowd. Come from crowd, look upon Caesar. And this is Caesar you are looking at. Caesar, "What sayest thou to me? What do you want to tell me? Speak once again." Soothsayer, "Be aware the Ides of March. Be aware of 15th of March." Caesar, "Oh, he is a dreamer. Let us leave him and pass." So Caesar doesn't believe in him, and so he says, "Okay, he's a dreamer. He's insane. Let's move." This was the small part of the scene which reveals some important facts. So which are those facts? Caesar is very powerful. Antony is completely loyal. Calphurnia doesn't have children, and a mysterious warning has been given, but Caesar ignores that warning. So till now we have come to know these important facts. Now Caesar moves away with the procession. The noise of procession disappears, and we are brought into the quiet conversation between two friends, Cassius and Brutus. Cassius is a talented general and long-time acquaintance of Caesar, and he is the main conspirator. So the conversation is taking place between Brutus and Cassius. Prima facie, it appears very casual kind of conversation, but later on, this conversation only is going to change the future of Rome. Let's see. Cassius, "Will you go see the order of the course? Are you going to watch the race?" Brutus, "Not I. I'm not going to watch." Cassius, "I pray you, do. I request you. Please join me. Let's go." Brutus, "I'm not gamesome. I do lack some part of quick spirit that Antony has. Let me not hinder, Cassius, your desires. I'll leave you." Then Brutus is saying that I'm not gamesome. I'm not gamesome means I'm not that much interested in sports or game. And I do lack means I don't possess that quick spirit, that competitive spirit as Antony has. Means I am not like Antony, or I don't possess energetic, cheerful or lively temperament as Antony has. Let me not hinder, Cassius, means let me not keep you here, you Cassius. So you can move, you can go and join and watch the games. I will leave you. You can go and you can watch the sports, but I'm not interested. So here, two contrasting characters are seen. Antony, lively, cheerful and energetic, and in comparison with Antony, Brutus is thoughtful, serious and calm. Now Cassius, "Brutus, I do observe you now of late. I have not from your eyes that gentleness and show of love as I was wont to have." You were too stubborn and too strange. Hand over your friend that loves you. So Cassius is telling to Brutus that, Brutus, lately I have observed you. I have noticed one thing, that you have become less affectionate and less friendly to me. And I was wont to have, means I used to have a very good friendship, or I used to get that affection from you, but recently I uh, I think that something has been changed, or something is bothering you. You were too stubborn, too strange. You have become so cold, so distant for a friend who loves you so much. So Cassius is very observant kind of person. So he says that, looking at Brutus' gloomy face, sad face, he says that you have become less loving, as you were not like that. So what is the reason? So Brutus says, Cassius, be not deceived. Cassius, please don't take me in a wrong way. From this dialogue, we come to know that Cassius has not started the conversation with politics, but he expresses his concern for Brutus, and this emotional approach only helps him to gain the confidence and trust of Brutus. And with that trust, he will influence Brutus against Caesar. So Cassius is very master persuader here, and he uses the right strategies. So Brutus says, Cassius, be not deceived. Cassius, don't take me in a wrong way. Don't misunderstand me. If I have veiled my look, means if I have hidden my look, if I have hidden my usual look, or if I appear very sad or gloomy, I turn the trouble of my countenance merely upon myself. Trouble means worry. I am worried about my personal thoughts only. So it doesn't have anything to do with anyone, nor I am upset because of you. It is just because of my personal thoughts. Maybe my appearance have been changed. Vexed I am of late with the passions of some difference, conceptions only proper to myself. Vexed I am annoyed, I am irritated of late with passions of some difference. Passions of some difference means some internal conflict is going on, some personal conflict is going on. Conceptions only proper to myself means that feeling, conceptions means feeling or thought that are related or that is concerned only to me. It doesn't have anything to do with you or anyone else, but some personal thoughts are going on, some internal conflict is going on, and that's why maybe my appearance has been changed, which gives some soil means which has affected perhaps to my behavior. Maybe because of this personal thoughts or conflict, it has affected my appearance, and that's why you might be thinking that I have become less friendly, but the case is not like that. Such way Brutus tells, and Brutus is very honest to accept the fact that yes, something is there which is disturbing him or bothering him, and that's why his behavior is changed. Brutus says that, let not therefore my good friends be grieved. So this thing should not affect or should not upset my friends, among which number, Cassius, you be the one. Cassius, you are my good friends, one of my good friends, so this thing should not upset you, nor constitute any further my neglect. And don't interpret my neglect, or don't interpret about my behavior, then that poor Brutus, with himself at war, forgets the show of love to other men. And just think that poor Brutus is having war with himself, and that's why he forgets to show the love, to show the kindness, to show the friendship to others. And that's why don't misinterpret my behavior. So Brutus is at war with himself, means he is not fighting against anyone, he is fighting with his own conscience, and that's why he says that I am at war with myself. And this dialogue is the first glimpse of Brutus' internal conflict. And this internal conflict is between two things: personal loyalty to Caesar and public duty to Rome. He loves Caesar, and at the same time he loves Rome also, and that's why he is not in the position, he is not in the situation to decide what is more important, and that's why this conflict is going on in Brutus' mind. Cassius: then Brutus, I have much mistook your passion. Then suddenly Cassius appears to be very understanding kind of friend, and then he says that, oh, then I have definitely misunderstood you. By means whereof this breast of mine hath buried thoughts of great value, worthy cogitation. Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face? Now see what the second line says. Brutus is telling that some important thoughts of great value means some important thoughts, worthy cogitation, same important thoughts, important ideas I have buried in my heart. Breast of mine I have buried in my heart, and because of this misunderstanding, I didn't tell you because I have got that misunderstanding that you have become less friendly. So very important thoughts are there, very important ideas are there that I have not shared with you. Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face? Very smart, and he immediately doesn't reveal that important thoughts, but he changes the topic and then asks him, can you see your own face? So here, Cassius is very manipulative kind of person, and he is a person who influences the mind of other before he reveals his own intention. Tell me, if someone tells you that he wants to share something important to you but doesn't reveal immediately, then what will you feel? Yes, definitely. You will become curious. Shakespeare shows that Cassius is master persuader, and he's very smart. He wants Brutus to listen to him first, and then he will reveal the things, and that's why Cassius is very dangerous. He influences the mind before he reveals anything or his intentions. Now what Cassius is saying, let's see that. uh, uh, Last line of Cassius' dialogue. Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face? Can you see yourself? Then Brutus says, no, Cassius, for the eye sees not itself. No, Cassius, I cannot see myself. Eyes cannot see itself without reflection. But by reflection, only mirror is there, then only we can see ourselves. By some other things, reflection on some other surface, then only we can see ourselves. Cassius: yeah, it's just, that's right. And it is very much lamented, Brutus, that you have no such mirrors as will turn your hidden worthiness into your eye, that you might see your shadow. Then he is telling that, yes, it is very much lamented. It is very sad, Brutus, that there is no one who can tell you your worthy qualities, your inner qualities, your noble qualities, and you also don't know about those qualities, that you might see your shadow. Means you can only see your external appearance, but your inner qualities, you are also not aware about that. I have heard where many of the best respect in Rome means those who are noblest people in the Rome, they are also talking. What they are talking? Except immortal Caesar नहीं, लेकिन बाकी सब लोग बात कर रहे हैं. Speaking of Brutus, they are talking about Brutus and groaning underneath this age's yoke, and they are talking about the complaint, means they are complaining against this tyranny of present era, wickedness of present era, or you can say that they are complaining about the growing power of Caesar and have wished that noble Brutus had his eyes, and they are talking that काश Brutus को आंखें होती, means काश Brutus देख सकता, that he has the noble qualities and he should take the action against this present situation. So Cassius is flattering him. Cassius is talking about, he's exaggerating. This is just an exaggeration. Means Brutus is good, but the way Cassius is telling him, this is just the exaggeration. So Brutus, what is the Brutus reply on this? Let's see that. Into what dangers would you lead me, Cassius, that you would have me seek into myself for that which is not in me? So Brutus also understands that this conversation is no longer about friendship, but Cassius is trying to influence him politically and wants Brutus to take some dangerous steps. And that's why Brutus says, into what dangers are you leading me into, Cassius, and what you want me to look into myself for something that is not there, things that what he wants me to do politically. So he becomes aware. Now here, till now we have seen that Cassius is very master persuaded, and which strategies he has used. Let's see that. Let's just have a brief recap of that. So he built the trust, then he expressed the concern when he sees that something is bothering to Brutus. Then he asks him, what is that is bothering you, or I can't see that friendliness in you. So he expressed that concern at that time. Then he created curiosity by telling that I have some important thoughts in my mind which I wanted to reveal, but he doesn't reveal immediately. So he has created curiosity, then uses flattery by telling Brutus that many noble people in the Rome, they are thinking about Brutus to take the action. So he uses here flattery, and in coming conversation, we will see that he is going to introduce the real idea gradually. Very slowly he goes. Immediately he doesn't come on the politics, and so he is a master persuader. This makes him Shakespeare's most skilled persuader. And that's why this conversation is the psychological turning point of the play. Therefore, good Brutus, be prepared to hear. So, Brutus, get ready to listen to me. And since you know you cannot see yourself as well as by reflection, I, your glass, will modestly discover to yourself that of yourself which you yet know not of. So, he is telling that you cannot see yourself as well as by reflection. Means reflection will show you Brutus, but you cannot see yourself without reflection. So I will be your mirror, I your glass. I will be your mirror, and without exaggeration, I will show you your qualities, your noble qualities, and you have not recognized, you also don't know about those qualities. I will show you. And be not jealous on me, gentle Brutus, but don't suspect me, don't have doubt on me about my intention, Brutus, because Cassius feels that one may suspect about his intentions, and so immediately he covers up and he says that please don't doubt on me. Jealous means in Elizabethan period, means in Shakespearean period, jealous was used similar to suspect, suspicion. Were I a common laugher and did use to tell with ordinary oaths my love to every new protester. So he is telling about himself, about Cassius. So because that doubt should not be created in the mind of Brutus, that's why he tells that if I were a common laugher, if I were the kind of person who pleases everyone, or if I am the kind of person who takes the ordinary oaths means what? Frequent common oaths. If I am taking my love to every new protester, means every acquaintance, whoever I am meeting, if I am kept on making the promises of friendship to each and everyone whom I meet, if you know that I do fawn on men, if you come to know that I flatter men, hug them hard, and after scandal them, then you know that I profess myself in banqueting to all rout, then hold me dangerous. Then he is telling that if I flatter men, if I hug them, if I warmly embrace them, and after scandal them is what if I speak about evil about them, if I speak bad about them, or if I profess myself, if I pretend myself to be friend of each and every one, whoever I meet in the banqueting, in the feast, or in the party, then hold me dangerous. So he's telling that if I am such kind of person who flatters everyone, who pleases everyone, who keeps on taking promises of friendship, then consider that I am very dangerous kind of person. So indirectly he wants to say that I am not like that kind of person. I am not such kind of person who pleases each and everyone. Here you will find the dramatic irony when he says, if I fawn on men, if I flatter men, means I don't flatter men, but actually he is flattering Brutus right now. And when he says, I don't scandal them, I don't talk evil about people, actually he is going to talk evil about Caesar in coming dialogues. So this is a dramatic irony shown here. So Cassius tells that I'm not a dangerous kind of person. I'm not such kind of person who flatters or who pleases each and every one. So don't doubt on me. Don't suspect my intentions. Brutus, what means this shouting? And suddenly, again, that shouting noise comes, and I do fear the people choose Caesar for their king. Then Brutus says that I fear that people have chosen Caesar as their king. Now look at the word fear. Brutus fears that Caesar may become king. Now, why he fears? Let's see the story behind it. The last king of Rome was Lucius Tarquinius, commonly known as Tarquin the Proud. He ruled from around 535 BC to 509 BC. He seized the throne by force after murdering the previous king, Servius Julius. He ruled as a tyrant, ignoring the Roman Senate and making decisions without consulting the nobles. He imposed heavy taxes and forced many Romans to work on massive construction projects. He used fear, violence, and executions to silence everyone who opposed him. This background is essential for understanding Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. When Caesar appears to seek greater power and is offered a crown, many Romans, especially Brutus and Cassius, fear that he might become another king like Tarquin. It is rooted in Rome's painful memory of Tarquin's tyranny, an oath made after his expulsion. Rome must never again be ruled by a king. This historical memory explains why the word king carried such negative meaning in Rome and is a central idea throughout Julius Caesar. Because Brutus believes Rome should remain a republic, not become a monarchy. He worries that if Caesar becomes king, too much power will rest in one man's hand. Now, because Brutus thinks that Rome should remain republic, and if Caesar becomes king, too much power will be rested in one hand, and that's why he fears that Rome should remain republic and it should not become monarchy. That's why the word fear is used here. Cassius, hey, do you fear that? Then must I think you would not have it so. Then I must think that you don't want Caesar to be a king. Brutus, I would not, Cassius. No, Cassius, I don't want Caesar to be a king. Yet I love him well, but I love him so much. Now look at this line. I would not, Cassius, yet I love him well. This shows Brutus' dilemma. Means he loves Caesar, but he fears Caesar potential king. So this is Brutus' dilemma. But wherefore do you hold me here so long? But why are you keeping me here for long? What is it that you would impart to me? What it is that you want to tell me? If it ought towards the general good, set honor in one eye, death in the other, I will look on both indifferently. Then Brutus is telling that if whatever you want to tell me, if it is related to the betterment of Rome, or if it is for the good of Rome, or betterment of the public, then set honor in one eye, set honor before one eye and death before the other. I will treat both the things equally. I will look on both indifferently, means I will treat both the things equally, and for let the God so spade me as I love the name of honor more than I fear death. This is very important quotation from the play. Brutus wants to tell that if honor demands sacrifice, then I am ready to face the death. And may let the God so spare, means may God bless me. If I truly love honor more than I fear death, then God should bless me. This is really very important, because whatever he is going to do, Brutus is going to do later on, including joining conspiracy, it is totally based on this belief that honor and duty are very important to him. Honor and duty to Rome, these two things are more important than any other thing. So this is very important quotation. Now I would like to ask you one thing. Is Brutus' greatest strength his greatest weakness? Because his greatest strength is his dedication to honor, which makes him a noble person. And same strength, that is honor, makes him vulnerable to Cassius' manipulation, because Cassius treats conspiracy as an honorable act even though it was personal betrayal. Think on this, whether Brutus' greatest strength becomes his greatest weakness. Until now, Cassius was preparing Brutus to listen to him. Now he will make his real arguments. He will never say that let us kill Julius Caesar, but now he will show that Caesar is not extraordinary person. He is just an ordinary person. So his argument revolves around this idea that Caesar is very ordinary kind of person. Now, if I ask you one thing, how can you convince someone that that famous leader is not an extraordinary person? So yes, obviously by telling the weakness of that leader or by giving the examples. Same thing Cassius does. Now Cassius praises Brutus' quality, Brutus' character, and not his outward look, because this is very powerful. Anyone or any person likes the appreciation for his character more than his looks. So same strategy is used by Cassius. So Cassius says, I know that virtue to be in you, Brutus. I know that noble qualities are there in you, Brutus. You are very honorable. You are very respected kind of person. I know that. And I know as well as I know your face. Well, honor is the subject of my story. So he is very good persuader, and a good persuader talks on the topic which the listener values the most. And so he says that honor is the topic of my conversation or my story. Right now, he has learned that Brutus loves honor more than anything else, and that's why he shapes all his arguments around honor. And so, what he says, I cannot tell what you and other men think of this life. I don't know what you and other people think about life. But for myself, but for me, I had as lief not be as lief to be in the awe of such a thing as I myself. So he's telling that for me, I would rather die, but I cannot live in the awe. In awe means in the fear of such thing as myself. I cannot live in the fear of such thing which is just like me. Means here thing is referred to Julius Caesar, and Cassius is not ready to call Caesar as a human being. He is referring to as a thing. So he is telling that that thing is just like me. So I cannot have such life that I have to live under the fear of such person who is just like me. I was born free as Caesar, so were you. So, here you will find that main focus of Cassius is on showing that Caesar is just an ordinary person, just like me, Brutus, or anyone else. So Caesar is very ordinary person, and that's why he says that I cannot live in the fear of such thing which is just like me. So he's telling that I was born free as Caesar, means Caesar and I both were born as free citizens of Rome. So were you. And Brutus, you were also born as free citizen. We both have fate as well, and we can both endure winter's cold as well as he. So he's telling that Brutus, you and me, we eat the same food, and we can endure, we can suffer from the hardships as the same way as he does, as Caesar does. So we are, in all sense, we all are equal, we all are same. For once upon a raw and gusty day. Now look at this persuasive technique, that he is going to tell the story, and stories are more powerful than any argument. So he tells a story. For once upon a raw and gusty day, once it was very windy and cold day, the troubled Tiber chafing with her shore. Troubled Tiber means Tiber river was flowing very violently, it was rushing against its bank. Caesar said to me, Dare thou, Cassius, now leap in with me into this angry flood. Then Caesar told me, Caesar challenged me to jump into this angry flood, into this violent water, and swim to that yonder point, swim to that distant point, or to that other bank. Upon the word accoutred, I was fully dressed. Without hesitation, I plunged, I jumped into the river and bade him follow. And I called him to follow me. So indeed he did, and he did. The torrent roared, we did buffet it with lusty sinews, throwing it aside and stemming it with hearts of controversy. Then torrent roared, the rushing water, we did buffet it, we resisted that water with lusty sinews, with power, with strength, we resisted that water, we fought against it, throwing it aside, stemming it with the hearts of controversy. We fought against that water with the heart of controversy, means with courage, with that strength. We resisted that. Before ere we could arrive the point proposed, Caesar cried, Help me, Cassius, or I sink. And before we arrived to the decided point, before we arrived the other bank, Caesar cried, Help me, Cassius, I am drowning. Aeneas, our great ancestor, did from flames of Troy upon his shoulder the old Anchises bear, so from the waves of Tiber did I tired Caesar. Before we understand Cassius' comparison, let's know who Aeneas was. According to Roman mythology, Aeneas was a brave Trojan prince and a legendary ancestor of Romans. When Greeks destroyed the city of Troy, Aeneas did not think only of saving himself. He lifted his old and helpless father, Anchises, onto his shoulders and carried him safely out of the burning city. His young son Ascanius walked beside him. After many adventures, Aeneas reached Italy. According to Roman tradition, his descendants eventually founded Rome. Therefore, the Romans honored him as great ancestor and symbol of courage, duty, devotion to family. By telling the story of Aeneas, Cassius wants to show that once he played the role of Aeneas and Caesar was helpless Anchises. While narrating the story, he says that he saved Caesar from drowning into river Tiber, just like the same way that Aeneas saved his father from burning Troy. So he wants to show that Caesar is not an extraordinary person, but he needed Cassius to save his life. So this in this conversation, Cassius doesn't want to show that he was very brave, but he wants to underline that Caesar was a weak person. He was not an extraordinary human being. Did I tired Caesar? Means in the same way, I rescued, I saved, exhausted Caesar, tired Caesar. And this man is now become a god, and this man whose life has been saved by Cassius is now become a god, and Cassius is a wretched creature, and Cassius just has remained an insignificant person, must bend his body and must bow before this so-called god if Caesar carelessly and nods on him. So word carelessly is very important here. He wants to show that Caesar is given so much importance, or Caesar is treated with so much respect, that even his careless nod is taken as royal authority, royal command, and one has to bend before his careless nod also. Then he tells another story when Caesar was in Spain. Cassius was also along with him, and when the feet was on him, I did mark how did he shake. It's true, this god did shake. So he says that when Caesar was in Spain, that time also he suffered from fever, and he was having the feet, and I noticed that how he trembled, how he shook at that time. And it's true, this god, this so-called god, shook, trembled. So here I want to underline the fact that there is some historical evidence that Julius Caesar suffered from physical illness. Ancient writers like Plutarch has also mentioned that Julius Caesar experienced some episodes which modern historians may think might have been epileptic seizures, and sometimes it is called falling sickness. Yes, so Julius Caesar, when he was in Spain, that time he had feet, and that time he was trembling, and Cassius mocks and says that yes, this god shook at that time. His covered lips did from their color fly, and from his lips, his covered lips became pale. Normally, lips became pale when one is fearful, or he is ill. And then he says that same eye whose bane does or the fear did lose his luster. And the same eyes who scared the whole world, who frightened the whole world, did lose his luster. Means that brightness was not there. Those eyes lost the brightness. Those same eyes, those that frightened the whole world, lost the brightness. Luster means brightness. I did hear him groan. I hear that he was groaning, he was crying in pain. Yeah, that tongue of his that bade Romans mark him and write his speeches in their books, and that the same tongue which bade Romans, means which ordered Romans mark him and write his speeches in their books. That same tongue which ordered Romans to write his speeches in the book, that same tongue cried, "Give me some drink, Titinius." Titinius is one of the officer, and then it cried, it requested that give me some drink, Titinius, as a seagull. Now in Shakespearean time, people often associated weakness to a seagull or to the children, and that's why this seagull is mentioned here. But it is seen from this dialogue that Cassius wants to say that Julius Caesar became so weak that he asked some drink from Titinius in a very low voice. Yeah, God, it does amaze me. Yeah, God, really, it amazed me. It surprised me. A man of such a feeble temper should so get the start of majestic world, and such a man who has such a weak temperament, now he is ruling the majestic world. Now he is ruling the whole world and bear the palm alone, and take all the awards alone himself. Now, this word palm alone, palm branch was traditionally the symbol of success or victory, and palm alone, bear the palm alone means successful man or the victor. So this is the meaning of bare palm alone. So from these dialogues, Cassius wants to show that Julius Caesar was very ordinary person, very weak person, and he has supported his argument with by telling these personal examples. Shakespeare strength lies in that he lets his characters to see the event or to interpret the event from their eyes. Means each character see the event from different angles, and Shakespeare leaves it to audience to critically watch and critically read that event and then decide and about the characters or about the event. So Shakespeare leaves us to decide or to judge Julius Caesar. Brutus, another great shout. I do believe that these applauses are for some new honors that are heaped on Caesar. So Brutus hears another applause, another shouting, and then he says that people are honoring Caesar. Maybe people are making him or giving him crown. Cassius, why man? He does bestride a narrow world like Colossus. Now let's see this Colossus. Cassius uses a famous image, the Colossus of Rhodes. Colossus of Rhodes was one of the seven wonders of ancient world. Imagine giant statue towering above everyone. That is how Caesar appears. Cassius compares Caesar with Colossus as if Caesar is also standing with legs apart, and we ordinary people, are living an insignificant life under his greatness like slaves, and we are going to die dishonorably. Men at some time are the masters of their fates, and men sometimes they control their destiny, their fate. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars but in ourselves, that we are underlings. Underlings means inferior. So he tells Brutus that, dear Brutus, the fault is not in our stars, the fault is not in our fate, but it is in ourselves that we are inferior. This is very famous line here, and this is the profound truth said by Cassius. Cassius rejects that idea that fate can shape our destiny. Fate is not responsible, stars are not responsible for our life, but we are responsible, our actions are responsible for our fate. So urges Brutus to take some action. So this is very profound truth, and so one may wonder that how beautiful line, how profound truth can come from the person like Cassius. So Cassius can be true, but here I want to tell you one thing, that these people like Cassius, who are jealous, who are cynical, then they observe the world very keenly, and they analyze people, they compare themselves with people, they analyze the system, and that is how they come to know about the realities of life. And but there is difference between knowing the harsh realities or the realities of life and to live by them. So good people live by the principle, and these cynical people or the jealous people, they only know the realities of life. Good people prioritize compassion, empathy, or encouragement. And in that they may filter out the harsh realities or the realities of life, whereas these bad people, they know the reality, but they don't think that there is obligation on them to soften that truth. So that is why Shakespeare also wants to emphasize on this, that wisdom and character always they cannot be together. So this is very important to understand, that such kind of people like Cassius, they may know the reality or the principles of life, but It's not necessary that they will live by these principles. Good people always live by principles, not the people like Cassius. They only know the reality of life. Yes, but this is a very beautiful line. Brutus and Caesar, what should be in that Caesar? So he's now his argument is changing from Caesar to Brutus. Now he is not criticizing Caesar, but he is trying to influence Brutus by saying that you and Caesar, there is no difference. You both are respectable and honorable men, Brutus and Caesar. What should be in that Caesar? What is great in that Caesar? Why should that name be sounded more than yours? Why that name is proclaimed more than yours? Write them together. Yours is as fair a name. If you write both the names together, then both the names appear fair, good, or respectable. Sound them, it does become mouth as well. If do you pronounce both the names are very good, they will sound respectable. They are easy to pronounce. Weigh them, it is as heavy. And if you weigh them, here Cassius doesn't want to weigh, like physical weight he is not talking about, but the value and the importance associated with the names. So he says that both the names have value, both the names are important. Conjure with them, Brutus will start a spirit as soon as Caesar. And he says that if you conjure, means if you cast a spell on the word Brutus, then it will call the ghost, it will call the spirit as quickly as the name Caesar. So there is no difference between Brutus and Caesar. Caesar is as respectable as Brutus is. So now, in the names of all gods at once, by the names of all gods at once means by all gods, upon what meat does this our Caesar feed that he is grown so great? What food he eats that he has grown so powerful, so great? Why people consider him so great? What is there in the name Caesar? Age thou art shamed. Age means this era, present era, or the Romans, you are ashamed. You should feel shame. This era, shame on you. Rome, thou hast lost the breed of noble bloods. Rome, you have lost that ability to raise the great people, noble blood, great people, noble people. When went there by an age since the great flood, but it was famed with more than with one man. So he is telling that since the great flood, since that great flood occurred, from that time in each era, was that era famous only with one person? So he wants to tell that each era, each period in history, it is famous not for only one man. Many great people were born in each era. Then why this era only one man is famous or only one man is considered as great? When could they say till now that talked of Rome that her wide walls encompassed but one man? When could they say till now, means when people started saying about Rome that her wide walls encompassed but one man? When people started saying that Rome has or Rome contains only one great man, when it started saying, so he indirectly wants to say that people never say that Rome has only one great person. Why now then? Now, is it Rome indeed and room enough when there is in it but one only man? So he's telling that Caesar has dominated each and every person so much that everyone is thinking that he's the only great person, and that's why Rome doesn't have any space for other people. There is only one room for Caesar only. Oh, you and I have heard our fathers say there was a Brutus once that would have brooked the eternal devil to keep his state in Rome as easily as a king. Now, Cassius is trying to appeal Brutus' pride and noble ancestry. He wants Brutus to believe that he deserves the same honor and respect as Caesar. He refers to Lucius Junius Brutus, the legendary ancestor of Marcus Brutus. He is remembered for driving out King Tarquin, the last king of Rome, helping establish the Roman Republic. Romans considered him a national hero. Why Cassius mentions Brutus' ancestor then? Because Cassius wants Brutus to feel proud of his family. The old Brutus hated kings so much that he would rather tolerate the devil than a king. Cassius reminds Brutus of his noble ancestry to awaken the sense of honor and responsibility. He hopes Brutus will feel obliged to oppose Caesar just as his ancestors opposed Roman monarchy. Look at that line, that Brutus once who would have brooked. Look at that line. There was a Brutus once. There was Lucius Brutus, great ancestor of Brutus, who would brooked, means who would tolerate or who can put up with eternal devil. मतलब devil से भी वो काम चला लेंगे. But they would not tolerate the king. Cassius picks this line in order to awaken that sense of honor and responsibility in Brutus, and so that Brutus should take an action and should oppose Caesar as king. And that's why he reminds Brutus of his ancestors. So this is very a powerful persuasion made by Cassius. Now I would like to ask you one thing. Which argument of Cassius is most likely to influence Brutus? That Caesar's weakness, stories about Caesar's weakness, or the idea of shaping one's own fate, or about reminder about Brutus' ancestor. So which argument do you think is likely to influence Brutus? Let me know in the comment section. Now let us see Brutus' reply on this powerful argument made by Cassius. Brutus says that you do love me, I am nothing jealous. Jealous, I have already told you, that doubtful or suspicious. Then Brutus says that I don't have any doubt about your intention. I know that you love me, you care for me. What you would work me to, I have some aim. So I have got that idea that what you want me to do. How I have thought of this and of these times I shall recount hereafter. Recount means I will narrate, I will tell, I will explain you. I will explain you how I have thought of this, means what I have thought about all these things I will tell you later, and also about of these times, means about this present situation, what I am thinking or what I have thought I will tell you later, not now, hereafter. For this present, I would not so with love, I might entreat you, be any further moved. Now, for this present, I want you, entreat you, means I request you, I would not be any further moved, means I want you not to persuade me any further for this time. And as a friendly, with love means what? As a friend, I am telling you that, or I am requesting you that don't persuade me any further for time being. So this was Brutus. What you said, I will consider. What you have told me, I will consider that, I will think on that. What you have to say, I will with patience hear. And what you want to tell me, I will patiently hear. I will patiently listen to it and find a time both meet to hear and answer such high things. And I will find time to answer you, to discuss with you such high things, such important things like politics, like Caesar's ambition, and all these things I will discuss with you. And then both we will meet. Till then, my good friend, my noble friend, chew upon this. Chew upon this means what? Think upon this, meditate on this, that Brutus had rather be a villager than to repute myself a son of Rome under these hard conditions, as this time is like to lie upon us. So very beautiful line this is. So Brutus says that I would rather be a villager. I will rather be a villager than to repute myself, means that rather than being called as a Roman citizen, I would prefer to be a villager under these harsh conditions, under this tyranny of present era, which is about to come on us. So in this time continues, if such situation continues, then Brutus is telling that I will call myself as a villager rather than being called as Roman citizen. Now what does this mean? Let's see that. According to Brutus, being called as Roman is something like honor, freedom, and equality. And suppose if someone else rules us, according to Brutus, Brutus says that if someone else rules, only one single person rules us, then being called as Roman doesn't have any meaning. It is a meaningless thing, and I will not call myself as a Roman citizen if we are ruled by one single person. So I will remain as a villager. So freedom is very important for and freedom and honor to Rome is very important for Brutus. Now, look at this line when Brutus says, I will consider. So, this is enough for Cassius. Cassius is very happy now, even if Brutus has not said that, okay, I will join your conspiracy, or okay, I will do whatever you will say. Brutus has not said, Brutus has said, okay, I will think on what you have said. Still, Cassius is very happy, very delighted, because Cassius knows that persuasion is not does not happen in one moment. It takes time, but changing a person starts or begins with planting one seed of doubt, and that has been done. So Cassius knows this, that this small fire is going to change the decision, and that is going to change the history of Rome. So this Cassius knows, and that's why he is happy on when Brutus says that I will consider this, because he knows that the seed of doubt has been planted. So very little job is remaining. And then Cassius, I am glad that my weak words have struck, but thus much show of fire from Brutus. This is said by Cassius in the mind. Aside matlab in the mind. Audience can listen to him, but not the character in front of him. So Cassius says in the mind that I am very happy that my words, my weak words have strike a small spark in Brutus, and let's see what will happen. So Cassius knows that the seed is planted, seed of doubt is planted. So definitely it is going to change the future of Rome. And there it is. Will Brutus be persuaded? Will he remain loyal to Caesar? Or will his love for Rome begin to outweigh his love for his friend? We will discover all this in part 2 of Act 1, Scene 2. But remember this moment, Brutus has not yet decided anything. Cassius has only begun to influence the way he thinks. And that is where we will begin in part 2. See you in part 2.